Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Brunswick's Best, where Lance takes a look at the greatest players in Minnesota Vikings history. This week, spotlighting those who wore the number 29. So, you got a pretty good list for us, Lance, there tonight? Let's hear it, huh?
I got a decent sized list. Not a lot to really talk about, but a couple of these guys are definitely worth mentioning, and a couple of the others are, it's a good bunch. It's a good bunch. I was actually surprised when I came to this number and seen uh the history of it all. So with that being said, we'll start with none other than Carl Kasalk. Carl Kasalke, was it? Yeah, I believe that's how we
Kasalki.
figured it. Kasalki. Okay, even though I knew it, I still messed it up as I delivered it. So, we all expected that anyways.
Yeah.
Carl Carl Kasalki was actually drafted by the Detroit Lions in the 11th round of the 1963 NFL Draft, but was waived by Detroit before he ever played a game and wound up with Minnesota. Another good fact about this guy is this is none other than our friend Drew from Vikings Report's favorite Viking player of all time, by the way. He wound shout out to you, Drew. He wound up starting 12 games for the Vikings in that 1963 season and started 117 of his 131 career games in purple and gold overall, including starting at safety in Super Bowl IV against the Kansas City Chiefs. Kasalki was known as a very hard hitter at safety, but had good skills in coverage as well. He collected 19 interceptions during his career as a Viking and was named to the Pro Bowl in 1970. Sadly, his Vikings career was cut shorter than anyone would have ever expected or liked. Prior to training camp in 1973, Carl was involved in a motorcycle accident that left him paralyzed from the waist down, forcing him into retirement. Uh, Carl has since then passed away in 2008 at the age of 67. Rest in peace, Carl. This week, you made Brunswick's best list. Moving right along, this guy was one of my favorites at the time when this team was playing, and that is none other than Brian Williams. Great cornerback for us for a few years before traveling to Jacksonville. But Brian Williams had a decent run at cornerback for the Vikings from 2002 until 2005. In his 4 seasons in purple, he picked up 12 interceptions, including 5 in a 2003 season that saw him lead the NFL in interception return yardage. He moved on to the Jacksonville Jaguars before the 2006 season and was actually in the league until 2011. Brian Williams, you get a brief mention this week. You make the list. Moving swiftly along to none other than a guy I really did not see coming, but I knew he had it in him to do this. And that's none other than Chester Taylor. For most teams, running back Chester Taylor would probably get a distinction like this. Taylor came to the Vikings in 2006 and rushed for over 1,200 yards in his first year in purple. He also holds the Vikings record for the longest run from scrimmage with his 95-yard touchdown scamper against the Seattle Seahawks in 2006. We all know the story. In 2007, Adrian Peterson happened to drop right into our laps, and we snatched him up and changed the story for Chester Taylor forever. But you know what? He ended up getting bumped out by Adrian Peterson, but in spite of that, still proved to be a capable third down back, and I believe one of the better third down backs for Peterson that Peterson had behind him in the years that he was here. But yeah, Chester Taylor filled that good spell role behind Adrian for the rest of his time here in purple. And for that, Chester, you get a brief mention too in this week's Brunswick's Best. And to conclude my list this week is somebody that was just here not too long ago, was decent for a few years, and then kind of fell completely off the face of the earth or face of the map. He's still in the league, but was never as good as he once had been for a good 3-year period there. And that is cornerback Xavier Rhodes. He was selected by the Minnesota Vikings in the first round, 25th overall of the 2013 NFL Draft. With the Vikings, Rhodes made 3 Pro Bowls and was a first-team All-Pro selection. really had a few standout years where I believe he could have been considered a shutdown cornerback. He spent some time teaming up with in his younger years with the ageless Terrence Newman, and his later years with the Vikings teaming up with another first rounder in Trey Waynes. He holds a couple Vikings records, one being most passes defended by a rookie, with that being 10 on his rookie year, and longest interception return, which I believe was against Arizona, and that went for 100 yards and a touchdown. His best season statistically came in 2016, where he snagged 5 of his 10 interceptions of the Vikings. Rhodes forced 3 fumbles and stacked up a staggering 73 pass breakups in his time as a Viking as well. Rhodes was released by the Vikings on March 13th, 2020, after 7 seasons with the team. And for that, Xavier, for those 3 to 4 years of great play at cornerback, you make this week's Brunswick's Best. And that concludes this week's Brunswick's Best.
All righty. I want to thank everybody again for watching. If you've not done so, hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook. Helps us out a ton with all the metrics and all that good stuff. Programming reminder, of course, Vikings Uncensored Studio Show Friday night, 6 p.m. Central Time, where we will preview the extremely important NFC North Division matchup with the Detroit Lions on Christmas Eve. Whiteout game. So if anybody is going to the game, make sure you wear your white Vikings gear. Also, next week, Rhinos Rants will not be seen on Monday night, being it is Christmas Day. It will be Tuesday night at 7 instead, where we will recap the goings-on from the Detroit game, hopefully talking about a Vikings victory and getting us closer to that elusive playoff seed. So with that, again, thank you everybody for watching. We'll catch you Friday for the studio show. SKOL Vikes.
SKOL.
And their defensive team. And their defensive team, Ronnie. Minnesota will keep it on the ground. Taylor somehow gets out of that, and Taylor's still moving. Taylor trying to go to the house. Bulware's got to run him down, and he can't. Touchdown, Vikings. The longest run of the year for Taylor, and I got to believe the longest of the year period for the Vikings. And Coach, that's how fast this game can turn on you.
Wow. I'll tell you what, the Vikings run right behind Steve Hutchinson, Brian McKinney, but really the play gets stopped. It looks like it's going to be no gain, maybe a yard loss, and Chester Taylor somehow found a little crease, kept running.
Palmer sits in, pass picked off, intercepted by Rhodes. Xavier Rhodes down the sideline, and goodbye, touchdown Vikings, no flags.